Hello. Day 3. Um, so, where do you begin these things? Do people just like jump into things and they're like, wow, I know exactly what to say right now? I feel like the answer to that is yes. There are some people who do that. Anyhow, so 3 days into this thing. This morning was, weird. My dogs were being rude, and they didn't want to let me sleep, which forced me to want to sleep more. And then I was laying in bed trying to contemplate if I was gonna wake up at that time or not. And I took 30 minutes to make that decision. And in that 30 minutes I had all this time to forget, but the whole time I was thinking, I've got to get up and do my routine. If I'm gonna get up, I have to get up and I have to do my routine. So that's good, I guess. It's forefront of my mind. A weird thing about my life, because I think that when you do things like this, it's supposed to affect more than just what's happening, but I'm seeing that in full force today. Well, I guess even yesterday. But it's weird, when you make one act of intentional change, moving toward doing something different, you start to notice so many more things, because I'm not just walking through my day on autopilot as much. So I'm noticing all kinds of things and all kinds of changes and movement and what I would call, like Holy Spirit stuff, just other people too, and things that they're going through, and things that I wonder if I would have noticed or would have asked about if I wasn't doing this. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, anyhow. So today's teachings were super interesting, from this book that I'm still reading, which I probably will not even get close to getting through, by the way, by the end of this. It's just a lot. I read 2 pages today. Two pages. They were about joy, which is mudita in Sanskrit. Who knows if I'm saying that right? And equanimity, upeksha, which is this new concept that I feel is so valuable and probably the most underpracticed thing, especially in American society. As an American, I can say that we suck at upeksha, because we teach the opposite in every bit of socialization, from the time we're small children until death. We literally teach people not to love this way. And that's interesting that it's it is just such an intense clash with this teaching. And I've especially lately, because there just have been a lot of turmoils in the friendships that I have, not necessarily with me sometimes, but with other people that they know, and that I may know or may not. But I see this this struggle that people are having, and the struggle is that they're not loving this way. They're loving essentially for themselves, and let me just read a little part of it so that you understand what I'm trying to say. Um, talk, Equanimity is this concept that we don't discriminate in love, and one of the deeper parts of that teaching today, from what we read in the the introduction of it, was that yourself is also part of that you don't discriminate. Like, it's not so self-sacrificial that you also don't love yourself, or that you also don't allow yourself to feel joy when it's mudita. So that's interesting. But one of the things that Thich Nhat Hanh talks about is that we don't discriminate or have prejudice about who we love, or if they're worthy of that love. And so one of the excerpts is, we shed all discrimination and prejudice and remove all boundaries between ourselves and others. As long as we see ourselves as the one who loves and the other as the one who is loved, as long as we value ourselves more than others or see ourselves as different from others, we do not have true equanimity. And I think people, if you were like, you love yourself more than other people, if you said that to them, they'd be like, no, you're wrong. But when you really examine their relationships, or my relationships, there are instances where this is super true. And what Thich Nhat Hanh is saying is that that's just not true love. It's just, there's a deeper love that we can experience, and until we can get to the place where we don't discriminate, we can't really experience it. This is also a shining, brilliant example that Jesus talks about, or a concept, I guess. You can see this in Christianity too, in New Testament, and when you talk to the right people. Not everybody practices this in Christianity either. In fact, I would again say that that a lot, not all, because never is everything all or nothing, but a lot of Christians are socialized to not think this way, even though the Bible is directly opposed to that. So this concept of upeksha, the very end of this little excerpt talks about romantic love, kind of like your beloved, the person that you spend the most of your time with, the majority of your time with, and it talks about, like, do you liberate them? Do you allow them to also experience love and joy in life as much as you do, or do you kind of like try to hoard their love and keep it all for yourself? And I think that that's really hard, especially when you're so in love with someone, or we call it love, but like when you need that person, to feel safety. I think that this can get forgotten, this concept that other person should also feel as safe and as liberated in that as you do. Wow, this will be the first one where I have to put two videos together because a phone call interrupted it. So I have no idea how long this is. But what was I saying? I was talking about true love, upeksha, equanimity. These are all the same thing. That when you don't do this, when you try to encage that person, that love becomes a prison, as opposed to like this wonderful feeling where you can feel joy and happiness, um, and and I think that this isn't just true in relationships that are, with your beloved. I've experienced this in other relationships where I think because I'm the kind of person that when I meet someone, I connect with them super deeply. And I have very few shallow relationships, like or acquaintances, I guess, where it's just like, hey, we just talk and say hi to each other. I have a few because there are people, in my life that I just haven't been able to crack. But for the most part, I love really deeply, and the people that I connect with are people that love really deeply. But I have in my life often experienced that, like a backfire of that, like where that relationship can feel like a prison because that person maybe starts to rely too much on that, and I feel obligated, or the opposite, maybe I rely on them too much and they feel obligated. So yeah, I mean, and I think we teach that too. I mean, like, we socialize people to be that way, if you listen to music, or watch movies, like the plot is often like, find the person that you're obsessed with and that you only ever think about them, and then, that you would die without, and you can't breathe if they leave. And like, listen to music, listen to songs. Like, these things are taught. These things are, more than taught. They're idolized. This like obsessive love, and I don't know. I think that in my relationship now with my wife, like, it's the most liberating love that I've ever known. And, it started out very, like, connected and intertwined and at times codependent. And we haven't shed all of that codependency. We, I think, rely on each other for comfort and, to pull each other out of situations. But like, because we both grow together and we both are deep, I think, and I think that Melinda allows me to love other people and other things, and I think that she cherishes that, and I cherish that in her too. And so I think that because of that, there's this liberation, because we don't feel guilty about that, or we don't feel like we have to, like, hold each other back. We actually kind of are the opposite. Like, we want to see each other move forward, even if in the moment, like, we're kind of helping each other not, which we've done, when one of us decides to step out or break free, we're happy for the other person, and we support them and try to help them. So that's kind of awesome, and it's kind of amazing that I have that. And yeah, I guess I'm just super grateful for that today. And yeah, so I have no idea how long this is. Hopefully not 15 minutes, but I love you, and thanks for watching if you did, and have a loving day.